before I get going with this video, I'm not exactly sure what the title of it's going to be, but it might be something that if you landed here because of a Google search around something to do with problems with small wood, this may or may not be the wood you're thinking of. This is in reference to small mini firewood. Anyway, it's been about a year since I have launched the Back 40 mini firewood, and things have been going great. But I have been running into a few problems, some big problems with the small wood. One of the main things that I've run into is actually, and this is going to sound crazy because of the firewood being so small, but I've run into some space issues. I've run out of places to store, well, not necessarily store the firewood, the mini firewood, but places to store the mini firewood right after I'm done splitting it. And the reason this has become a problem is because when I split the mini firewood, when I've been taking it off the Kindle 200, I've sometimes have been putting it into large storage containers, kind of like these bags or these IBC totes with the wire mesh around them. So like I would fill this tote completely full all the way up to the wire here, or I've been using like bulk bags like that. And those are the 9 cubic foot bags. Or I've been just dumping it into big piles like this. The problem I've been having is that in the totes, the mini firewood, when it's freshly split, will sometimes develop this right here. And you might not be able to see this. Let me just... So I've been finding that some of the pieces, because when they're freshly split, they'll have a little moisture on them and they'll develop mold. And this right here is no good. This is not what I want to see. Now, it's not on all the pieces. It's just sometimes randomly there will be a piece or two that ends up with mold on it. The other thing I've done is when I put it in piles like this, I will come back a couple days, maybe even a week later, and I'll dig into the center of this pile, and the wood down inside here will just be like damp to the touch. Like this stuff is still, it's cold, it's kind of damp, so it's not getting the, I guess, air and the sun that it needs to kind of just get that initial moisture off the surface. Same thing with the bags. I got a couple bags over here of some of the honey locusts I just recently split, and I'll do the same thing. I'll dig down into the center, like down inside here, and you can just feel the difference, both in temperature and in like the dampness of the wood. So you may have seen in the beginning there a quick little shot of what I did yesterday. Yesterday, I was splitting some of the walnut, and what I decided to do was, instead of putting it into a bulk container, I put down a black tarp on the ground and I just dumped it out. And I dumped it out into a fairly thin layer, and it has been sitting out in the sun all day yesterday, all day today, and we've had, you might be able to see, we've had a nice breeze blowing. And the breeze, unfortunately, created another problem that I'll show you here at the end of the video. But so this stuff has now had 2 full days of sun and a nice breeze blowing over it. And it's just a huge difference in feeling like this piece right here is just like warm and it feels dry. There's no dampness. It's not cold like the other stuff that I put in the bags or the totes. And this stuff just already sounds like it's dang near dry. Dang near ready to go after just 2 days. Now, the good thing is that the forecast does call for sun all week this week. I don't know if I should press my luck and leave this out because it'll probably end up raining, knowing my relationship with Mother Nature. But I might leave this another day or two, and then what I'm going to do is take this and put this after it's kind of had that initial drying condition, and it's kind of gotten rid of that initial moisture, like just the feel of being wet. Then I will transfer this into a bulk storage container, like either the bag or a tote. So that's why I'm trying this whole approach of dumping it all out in a nice thin layer on the ground, on a tarp, in the sun and in the open air. It's nice that there's a breeze today. Like I said, that really helps. So it's not that big of a problem. It's just something that I've had to now over the past few months of fine-tuning my process. I've just had to take into consideration as I'm producing more and more and selling more and more. I need to like get this down to where I don't have to worry about problems like that mold. And I know you'll say, well, you know, if you're heat treating it, why don't you just kiln dry it? A couple reasons. Number one, the kiln drying doesn't necessarily solve that problem because you can end up baking moisture out of the wood, but yet it stays on the surface, and then it still has an opportunity to create that mold. The other thing is time and money. It takes longer to kiln dry it, and the longer it takes, the more it costs. So I like to season the wood naturally, and in this case, just using the sun and the wind. So I like to let it dry and season naturally, and then do the heat treatment, which only takes about 2 hours, maybe 2.5 hours. So it's a lot shorter process to just heat treat it than to try to actually kiln dry it. So that's why I have now decided to do the whole, well, I'm testing this out. So I'm testing out dumping this out for a few days in the sun. I think that will get that initial moisture off the surface. And then from there, I can put it into bulk storage containers and put it either, you know, undercover somewhere, in the shelter, or somewhere. Speaking of shelters, and I mentioned the wind earlier that we've been having here today. Yeah, the wind was a little gusty, and I had a gust of wind. Must have came in the front of the shelter over here and pushed it and ripped it pretty much in half right on top. So that's going to be fun to deal with and figure out. I'm going to have to go get some more tarps to fix the shelter, and possibly, if this works, laying this stuff out, to get a few more tarps to do that. And it's not going to be that bad. I know you're probably going to be thinking I got to handle this all, but you know, pick it all up, but it's not going to really be that bad to just grab the corners of the tarp and fold everything into the center and then transfer it into a larger container. So again, just some of the little things that have been going on with the mini Firewood. I know we've talked about it a few times on the live stream. Oh, this thing is starting to blow again. Geez, I better get out of there. The rest of it might blow over. But we mentioned it a few times on the live stream. And like I said, now that I'm upping production to keep up with demand, I'm finding that before, when I would just take, you know, a few boxes and put them in the greenhouse, now I need to kind of scale up and find a way to scale up and get that first couple days of drying figured out, because it doesn't work. Like a pile like that, that will work with regular firewood to a certain degree. I'm still not completely convinced on the inside of that pile drying out, because I can tell you that the inside of a big pile of mini firewood does not dry out. It does not get any air. It does not, like this pile right here in the full sun, the inside of that pile is cold, damp, and not drying. So there it is. Little update on the progression of the Back 40 mini firewood line. It's been going great. Like I said, it's just I'm having to now problem solve and figure out solutions for scaling things up. And maybe this tarp over here on the ground, this might be the answer. Even though, yes, it's going to involve one more touch of the little wood.